Hey everybody, it's Luca from Rackets and Runners. Look, it's no secret that our pickleball inventory has increased significantly over the past year, and now that we've settled into the industry, it's time to set a few things straight about how paddles wear and the warranties that go along with that. The reality is pickleball paddles don't last forever. Making contact with a hard plastic ball like that will take its toll, and I'm sure some of you have experienced paddles wearing if you've played pickleball for a while now. We understand that seeing a decrease in playability or even straight up seeing a paddle break can be extremely frustrating, especially now that prices are soaring up into the high 300s. So today we're going to talk about common issues that arise, the best way to reduce the risk of them occurring, and what safety nets are available when they do become a reality. When manufacturers started adding grit to paddle faces, the whole community was in awe. It made for a huge improvement in spin potential, but it also opened a whole Pandora's box for a loss of that spin over time. Sprayed on grit was one of the first methods for adding texture to a paddle face, but it wore very fast, so it was quickly overtaken by raw carbon as the primary spin generating technology, in large part because it's so much more durable. Still, carbon wears over time. There are higher grades like Toray T700 that last longer than others, but there are also certain precautions you can take to keep it lasting as long as possible. The most important thing you can do is clean off the paddle face after each session. As the ball makes contact with the paddle, urethane gets lodged between the carbon's grit, which makes it wear quite a bit quicker. A rubber eraser is the most effective way to clean off the paddle face. It can be used on any paddle with a raw carbon surface, and by the way, we have some pretty awesome Rackets and Runners branded ones. Now still, even with the use of an eraser, that grit will wear away and you'll experience a loss of spin. Expect most raw carbon face paddle to last between 6 and 8 months if you play 5 times a week. Of course, that varies from player to player, but spin loss is going to be a reality for everyone. It's not going to make the paddle unusable, but that's when you should consider replacing it if you want optimal playability. Now, because a loss of grit is something that naturally happens over time, it's not covered under most manufacturers' warranty. I know it's a little difficult to understand that a paddle's not going to last forever, but it's similar to strings in a tennis racket. Over time, that ball making contact with the face is going to make things wear out. Now let's change it up to things that are covered under warranty, starting with the bumper coming off. This issue is uncommon, but can happen for a couple of reasons. One, something happened during the manufacturing process and the edge guard isn't properly bonded onto the paddle. Or two, you made contact with the ground and it came off. Both are covered, so don't worry about totally babying your paddle at all times, but brands will also make sure you didn't smash the paddle in a fit of rage because that certainly isn't covered. But yeah, the bumper is there for a reason. You have to get low for balls in pickleball, so sometimes you're going to touch the ground. They are quite resilient, so if they do come off, you're most likely covered. And on that same note, little scuffs and scratches to the edge guard definitely aren't covered. They're made to absorb that at the end of the day. Handles breaking is an issue that caused quite the stir a couple of years ago, but has since become pretty much eradicated as an issue. I'll talk about why in a second, but no, the handle should not just randomly break from the paddle face. This is another manufacturing error that's absolutely covered under warranty. Again, not if you're kung fu chopping the paddle at the throat, but under any normal circumstance, a brand will replace a paddle with a broken handle. This is actually quite a frustrating issue because usually you've done nothing wrong and it can happen at any time, but this is becoming less and less of an issue because of the use of thermoforming in paddle construction. Thermoformed unibody paddles are made from one seamless piece of carbon spanning from the top of the paddle all the way to the bottom of the handle. Older paddles used glue to bond the handle to the paddle face, which left that zone most at risk for breakage. They're pretty much indestructible there now, but either way, if there is an issue, you're most likely covered. Delamination is an umbrella term for core crushing and the paddle face separating from the core. Both of these are major manufacturing issues that become pretty easily noticeable as you're playing, and they also render the paddle illegal to compete with, so if you are playing a tournament, it's best to put it aside. You'll feel a major increase in power with a core crush paddle, that's hint number one, and then to confirm it, just press on the paddle face, and if it compresses a lot, that means it's most likely core crushed. Face separation is much more obvious. You'll actually feel the face and the core slapping against each other as you're making contact with the ball. Now, it is important to understand that delamination is quite an obvious issue that usually arises from one shot to the next. It's not the same thing as the core naturally wearing out. Kind of like it was with grit, a core will naturally fatigue over time, usually causing a more muted, softer feel and sometimes a loss in power. That's not covered under warranty. Now, how about getting those warranties done? Well, most of the time you should go directly through us. In fact, it's only with Selkirk and their SLK branch that you have to go directly to the company. The warranty period does vary for each brand, and you can see more information on that if you scroll down our page. Usually it's between 3 months and 1 year. Keep in mind that the warranty period starts from the day you purchase a paddle, so if you can't remember, just give us a call and we'll check our records. So if something does happen to your paddle, whether you live in Vancouver or not, email us a clear picture of the defective area to info@racketsandrunners.ca, and also please quickly describe the issue. One of our managers will inspect the photo, and if we determine that it's most likely defective, you'll probably have to send it into the store, again, depending on the brand. Then we send the paddle to the company, who conducts their own investigation and finalizes your warranty claim. Keep in mind, most brands only allow 1 warranty per paddle purchase. Also, please understand that we are a small family business, so if the defect happens more than 30 days after purchase, we won't cover the cost of either shipping the defective paddle or the new one. But anyways, that's it for paddle wear and warranty. We also understand that this can be a bit of a confusing subject, and we're happy to help, so don't hesitate to give us a call or email us if you have any questions.